Howdy y'all, Banjo Ben here at Banjo Ben's General Store with Jake and Daryl. We're going to talk to you about how to adequately ship your instruments that have a case. We want our instruments to get to where they're going safely without any damage. There's a process in that, and if you have a case to ship your instrument in, that's what this video is about. If you happen to not have a case and you're having to ship your instrument just in a box, we've made another video for that, so you want to check that out in the link nearby. All right, Daryl, what kind of materials do we need as we prepare to ship an instrument, whether it be a banjo guitar, or this is an octave mandolin. This was actually going out today to a customer. What materials do we need to make sure that we do a good job in the packing and shipping process?
Well, we need something to pack with. We use old newspapers that we get for free, and tape gun, and a marker, and a double-walled cardboard box.
Okay, double, I mean, we have 2 layers there. Corrugation, that's important, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you might actually, on this particular instrument, the box is a little bigger than it needs to be. So if you have a box knife or even just pocket knife is sufficient.
Yeah, we'll go through
to
that.
cut the dimension.
Yeah, that'll save you some money, big time, and some newspaper.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So now let's talk about what actually needs to be done to this instrument before we close the lid, because it's not enough just to put the instrument in and shut it. We've got to be mindful of a couple things. What are we looking at?
Okay, so you want to eliminate travel, so nothing can move if it gets dropped or falls out of an airplane or gets run over by a tank or something. So underneath the neck here is the most crucial part, I would say, and it's got a pretty good neck block on it, but we're going to take some newspaper and just give her a wrap.
Would I need to worry about detuning this instrument? I noticed this one's not detuned. Is that something that we would want to do?
Usually on mandolins you don't detune them too much.
I think this one might have been a half step down already. So
Right, the octaves
So
are.
a half step's all right, and you don't want to go too much because these floating bridges can come dislodged.
Right.
On a guitar, how much do you go down on a guitar? A step or two?
Yeah, step.
Okay.
About a step.
I just one turn on each.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
All right, so we're just gonna take this newspaper. We're gonna just wrap it around the headstock here, just creating a nice little contraption for safety.
Yeah, so while he's doing that, one of the most important aspects is this neck and headstock area, because what a lot of people don't realize is they're shipping an instrument in a case. They think, oh, it's in a case, it's good. You want to take up all the empty space in the case, because what can happen even if the case is packed really well in a box, if the instrument is not also packed really well in the case, if there's empty space, if that box falls over, the inertia can cause the headstock to snap.
Yep, that happened to me flying an instrument one time. The instrument got dropped or thrown, I don't know, but it was in a really nice, expensive travel case. But there was enough wiggle in there that it was enough to snap that neck when it landed, you know, and that's in a really $1,000 plus, you know, traveling case. So here, so you just made it to where when that neck goes any direction, it runs into paper, not air.
Right, you can't move the neck, and whenever you shut this lid, it actually has some foam here that's going to help and prevent that. But you want to have to push it down just a tiny bit to be able to get it to the bottom. You don't want to be able to move it at all.
You don't worry about putting anything under here.
Yes, you do. There's actually a block here
Okay.
that you probably can't see with the camera, but I always fill just every void that I can, so there's no way at all it can move.
Empty space is your enemy.
Yeah, eliminate.
Eliminate it.
So right here at the bridge, this also has the foam that goes all the way across, so whenever it closes, that bridge is going to be pushed there. But see how there's no room of movement? You actually want to have to push that down about a ½ inch.
On something, huh?
Yeah.
On something. So what we're going to do...
And even though this is kind of an odd case, most people out there are going to be shipping guitars and banjos. The principle is still the same.
Right.
But would you say in a normal guitar case that it's going to be similar to this, or are you having to
It'll be
cushion
similar.
more places?
It'll be similar. You'll have a lot more around the neck block here, and then also in the corners.
That's what I wondered, because when y'all ship me instruments, and I hear this all the time from customers, like, my goodness, that thing was packed well. And normally what we mean is, how did you fit so much newspaper in there? But that's really how they should all be shipped. If you know, people normally don't ship instruments as safe as they need to. We take great care. So this one's quite tight around the edge, but in most guitar cases, you can get fingers in between there.
Yeah.
And so even that, you don't have to worry about paper scratching your instrument's finish if it's regular newspaper. We'll take and space around the guitar and the banjo to even shore that up.
You want to be careful pushing down right here. It's obviously has some integrity there, but we're just going to create just a tiny bit of padding to put there. And as you can see, the case is about 1/2 inch of play right there. So
Yeah, we're not having to force
down
it,
there.
but it's.
but this one also comes with this nice fancy
Oh, I forgot about that.
velvet.
Magic carpet ride there.
Yeah. And that's what you want. All right, so we're all set up there.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the box.
And honestly, by the time you get finished with that, if you didn't care about what happened to the outside of your case, you can probably stick a label on this and ship it, and it's going to make it most places. But that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in making it all places. So that's why, you know, we're creating 2 buffers for every time we ship an instrument. Whether we're shipping it in, you know, with no case, we'd put it in a smaller cardboard box and then put it in another. With this one, I just want to stress again, that it's not enough to just put an instrument straight in a case and then into a box. We've got to do 2 packing jobs to do a good job with this.
So, running over again on the double wall cardboard box, that's really important for safety.
Yeah.
Where can people
Integrity.
get boxes like that?
Local FedEx store, I mean, it maybe even their UPS store or something.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
You can even go to local businesses that maybe get shipments of stuff in, and a lot of times they're just throwing boxes away in a recycle bin out back, and they'll let you just pick what you need sometimes, you know.
It's always a balance between finding one that's, you know, got enough room, but also not too much room so that you're not paying for extra shipping, because we'll talk about it later, but you're going to pay according to dimensions.
Yeah.
And which we're going to see here in a bit. And we don't want such small space that we're not able to get more padding inside the case.
Yeah.
okay, so what I always do is create just a little bit of a floor padding. So just take a whole newspaper and just sliding down in the middle. As you see there, we've got about, I don't know, 8 inches or something to play. So we don't want that. And we want him to sit right in the middle where we have room on all sides so that he has a buffer everywhere.
So to be clear, we could pile the rest of this full of peanuts or paper, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But we're paying for now 3 or 4 inches at least of extra.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
which like that amount difference can literally mean an extra 40 or 50 bucks per
Right.
package.
Okay, so what do we do to eliminate that, but leave us enough room to put packing?
We were going to cut him down.
All right.
So I usually do it by hand. You can take a piece of cardboard and make you a little template to put on there, and you can mark it. But I just do it by hand.
Yeah, just kind of.
And you don't want to cut all the way through. You want to just cut through the first one, the first ply,
To create
so that it'll
it'll fold.
fold over.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and get that going.
And you usually just go a few inches above the instrument.
Okay.
That way you can still get enough packing on top.
After you do this, we'll let people peek inside and see.
All right, now we're going to cut down the corners.
Yeah, so after you score the inside of the box
Let's
where you
show
want it.
that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, so he's just scored it just a few inches above the top of the case, all the way around, all 4
Then
sides.
you'll go to each corner and cut all the way through down to those score lines. That's the next step.
You're going to bend it out like this.
What? You saved me 50 bucks, man. Thank you.
All right, so now that is not ideal. So we're gonna use our fancy paper, but you can use,
Yeah, you can continue with newspaper at this on this part.
and I do this kind of like you put lugs on a wheel. You go opposite just to keep it right in the middle. All right, now as you can see, that's really tight. Not too tight, but just snug enough to where if it falls, I mean, there's just no movement at all. All right, so you want to have to push that down as well, just like inside the case. So
Springy, a little bit of springy tension.
yes, a little bit of springy tension. You always want to put a piece of paper with your name, number, or address, or whoever you're shipping it to, in case the label gets torn off or it gets lost or something happens like that. They can just look inside on the top and continue shipping. Put your nice little sticker in here for you. I'm gonna shut him up with a little bit of spring tension. Now, since you cut it down, you're gonna have to do something about this lid. So all you do, make it easier on yourself. I go about halfway and just cut it all the way through without cutting your finger off or your belly open. About did that once. The other side, you wanna get it pretty close to the edge. Like so. And biggest thing here is to eliminate any crease or crack that water or something could get through. Well, there you go. There is a nice airtight Christmas present for me. This side, look.
All right, you put that. Oh man, you just saved your employee review. Right there. All right. So with the marker, which we do.
So, which way's up doesn't really matter in shipping, I wouldn't say, but it does matter if the label gets lost. They don't want to have to open it and go through the whole thing to see if there is even a name in there. So,
Yep.
up sign, fragile.
Fragile.
Yeah, so if you don't have special stickers that show which way's up or that it's fragile, you can just write on there with a marker.
Okay. And this does not mean throw.
So, you know, you can take these instruments to a local, you know, UPS, FedEx store, something like that, and ask them to ship it. And depending on who's doing it, would, you know, depends on what kind of job it's done. If you do take it there, you would just want to be adamant that you pack the inside of your case before you take it there, because they're not going to do that. They're not going to have the newspaper there and stuff, or the expertise, more than likely, to take care of the instrument inside the case. And then you just need to oversee and supervise that process of them packing it into the box. Make sure it's a double-walled box. Make sure that there's not any loose play. Because even though those people do it for a living, I've seen all kinds of packing jobs over the years. If you're doing it yourself and you print out the label at home, it doesn't matter where you put the label. You can put it on the side, on the top, just big enough to be scanned, and that's it. You know, a lot of people might look at this method and think that it's overkill, because frankly, most of your packing jobs are not this thorough. I would say that, you know, it's not overkill. It's just being responsible and getting the instrument there, you know, in one piece. And a store like ours, we've got people spend a lot of money on instruments that they've never seen, and they expect that instrument to arrive at their place just like it left the store.
With the setup intact and everything.
That's the thing too, is that we're guarding against not just damage to the instrument, but we're also trying to protect the professional setup that we spend a lot of time on here in the store. When you get your instrument from us, it's set up according to how you wanted it a lot of times. Sometimes folks just tell us, set it up the way that you would, that's fine. Or we do custom setup jobs and ship it. So we ship it like this to make sure and try to preserve that the best we can. Another piece to that is guarding against climate control issues. So, you know, we don't know exactly where these instruments are going to pass through as we ship them. So if we're in extreme seasons, middle of the summer, middle of the winter, every bit of this packing helps serve as insulation, as packages may sit on a runway somewhere, or may sit in a cart, or may sit in a truck. And we do want to advise you, no matter where, what time of year that you get your instrument, it's always a good idea to grab the box and just let it sit inside your house for a half day, for a day. If you can, overnight works just fine. The more extreme the temperatures outside, the more that you would want to let it sit. But it's not the extreme cold and heat that can necessarily damage the instrument. It's the differential, coming from something really cold to something really warm, or vice versa.
Yeah, so you want to send that information ahead. Wherever you're sending your instrument, whoever's getting it, make sure they know when you receive it.
Just hold on to it.
Don't open it right away.
Yeah.
And you can do it in stages. Set it in the corner for a few hours, then open the top flap and feel inside.
Right.
And if that feels room temperature, it doesn't feel too hot or too cold,
going.
pull out the case and then open it real quick, feel inside the case. If that feels okay, you're probably good, you know.
Now here at Banjo Ben's General Store, we have a 72-hour, no questions asked return policy, as long as it's in the same condition, you know, so you can keep, 3 days you have your instrument, and you can still send it back. So we ask people to just wait 4 days before they open their instrument. And
Acclimate.
we're kidding, but seriously, take a half day or a day or overnight. I know it's tough to not just rip into that thing, but like Jake said, that's all you gotta do. Pop the top, see if the newspaper's hot.
Yeah.
Keep going. That case is hot, that case is really cold underneath that newspaper. Back off.
And depending on where it's going, a lot of times it's like you can get it right in, feel it, it feels normal, and it's totally, you can go ahead and open it, just do it in stages to make sure it's not gotten too warm or cold.
Yeah. We're just giving you all the caveats that cause issues.
Problems.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily happen often, but they happen. And if you use the same carry every time, then it'll likely never happen. So if you want to know more about how to ship instruments, you have a question about how to do that, if you're shipping one to us, please feel free, give us a call. We'll walk you through that process and help you. And just know that when you do order from the general store, that it's going to arrive at your place safe and sound as long as it and as far as it depends on us. Thanks for watching this video. Again, if you want to see how to pack one without a case and just all you have is cardboard boxes, you can click on that one. Come see us at banjobenclark.com.